Now that we have our audiovisual thesaurus properly filtered to only the subject terms, we can try to create a mapping with our term list. The idea behind CultuurLINK is that you build up your strategy step by step. So you start with a simple type of mapping, see how good it is, and then determine how to continue to either improve your recall or to improve your precision. So there are various blocks available to create a mapping. You can use word overlap, you can compare strings, or you can use fuzzy string matching. And each of those blocks have different configurations in order to make them even more powerful. So we're going to start very simple. We're just going to take a string match block, we drag it in here, and we're going to connect it to our two data sources. Let me move this down a bit so we have a little bit more space for our strategy. So we connect the output of the term list to the first input, and we connect the output of the filtered list to the second input. You notice that the block is red. This means that it's not configured yet and no result can be computed. So to compute the result, we will configure it. And you see that the missing fields are marked red. So what we need to provide is the properties or the attributes that we're going to use to get our string. And as we saw when we were inspecting the data, that our data sources both had a preferred label. Typically the idea in a thesaurus is that the preferred labels are unique, so it's a good idea to start with this. We'll leave the other properties as the default. This means we will just check if these strings are exactly the same. Alright, let's give it a go. And there we have 557 matches. So now let's switch to the data table and inspect those in a bit more detail. You can see that we have the different columns that we selected before, and instead of having only one term, we now have two. So in the first row you see the one from the National Institute for War Documentation, and then the second one from the Audiovisual Thesaurus.